was fascinated to read this account just recently about Kristen Powers. You know, Kristen is a contributor to USA Today. She's a columnist for Newsweek and the Daily Beast. She's a Democratic contributor on Fox News. She writes of her testimony, "The God I can't write off." The God I can't write off. It's an amazing account. I'm going to read a couple of statements out of this article that she wrote. She talks about the fact that at first, the subtitle, "The God I Can't Write Off." Most of my life, I thought Christians were crazy until I dated one. She talks about how God worked in her life. She's in Taiwan one night. Then one night on a trip to Taiwan, I woke up in what felt like a strange cross between a dream and reality. Jesus came to me. He said, "Here I am." It felt so real, I didn't know what to make of it. I called my boyfriend, but before I had time to tell him about it, he told me he had been praying the night before and felt we were supposed to break up. So we did. Honestly, while I was upset, I was more traumatized by Jesus visiting me. I tried to write off the experience as misfiring synapses, but I couldn't shake it. When I returned to New York, a few days later, I was lost. I suddenly felt God everywhere, and it was terrifying. More important, it was unwelcome. It felt like an invasion. I started to fear that I was going crazy. She says a little bit later on, a friend had encouraged her to go to a Bible study. I remember walking into the Bible study. I had a knot in my stomach. In my mind, only weirdos and zealots went to Bible studies. There we are. We're all here together. I don't remember what was said that day. All I know is that when I left, everything had changed. I'll never forget standing outside that apartment on the Upper East Side and saying to myself, "It's true. It's completely true." The world looked entirely different, like a veil had been lifted off of it. I had not an iota of doubt. I was filled with indescribable joy. The horror of the prospect of being a devout Christian crept back in almost immediately. I spent the next few months doing my best to wrestle away from God. It was pointless. Everywhere I turned, there he was. Slowly, there was less fear and more joy. The hound of heaven had pursued me and caught me, whether I liked it or not. And my friend, that is exactly what the Apostle Paul is saying in Galatians 4:9. You think it's amazing that you know God? You need to get your socks blown off by the reality that God knows you. And he initiated that love relationship with you, and he pursued you, and he sought after you, and he came after you, and he knocked down the door of your heart. And he's the one that we give praise to. He's the one that we give thanks to. He's the one that we speak of in this way. Absolutely. We're running from God, and the hound of heaven chases us until we say yes.